Good afternoon and good evening and good morning to every one of you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm in the dark room today. I don't know why, but I thought I was going to do this little tidbit of admin work anyway, and I thought, I might as well do it with you all. So there we go. Welcome. I've been working today, so I'm a little bit late. My shifts were a little bit different this week, so that's why I wasn't on at 5 o'clock because that's when my work finished. So there we go. Yeah. My goodness, Steve is up early. That's exciting. I've already spoken to Kiwi Hawk in New Zealand on Discord. That's exciting. He never sleeps. The man never sleeps. It's exciting. Very cool. And Christina and Rod are also here. And Joe is also here. Very cool. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I haven't forgotten anybody. Anyone who is not in the chat, hello and welcome, of course. So in the last episode, we did something of a bit of kind of admin work, and I'm hoping this is going to be the last admin for Twitch episode. I just wanted to get this up and running so that, we can do other 3D stuff here. So it's not really a 3D Shenanigans episode, but it falls under that umbrella. And hello Julia, hello to you too. It is more about these little panels that we've made there in the last stream. And I don't know if you remember this. Let me just find where that all is. Let's find on my overcrowded desktop. Let's have a look at the before impression of my Twitch channel, which was this. So this is what the Twitch channel looked like before, and it was just something I cobbled together out of the admin panels that were there. So these things here are regular headlines. You can create them with these panels, and then you can add an image to it, and then you can add some text underneath it. But that's really the pattern that I followed. The styling isn't something you can really do much about, but we'll have a look today at how to style this text with Markdown and how to make these buttons look much funkier. Because if you have a look now on my Twitch channel, which always looks weird if I go to the Twitch channel that we're live with, it's kind of weird, but just to show you what I've done so far, that looks a little bit better once it loads. I'm also testing a slightly higher bandwidth today. See if my internet connection is back up and running. There we go. This is the state as of now. So much better, I'd say. So these are the buttons we've made in the last episode here. And now I can style text underneath it. And I've made many more buttons, and these now act as headlines. So I don't need this headline anymore. I might keep it for this panel, but this is what these buttons look like in context. And this is what we started from scratch last time. And I always think it's nice to see this in context and see what this whole spending hours and hours hacking away in Photoshop or similar applications actually does at the end of the day. So there we go. That is that. It was 2 days ago, Christina, I believe. And I'll show you what I've made in Photoshop there. The raw file, it looked kind of interesting here. These are some icons I've prepared for my Stream Deck. I'll show you more about this. This is a project I'm planning because Steve and Rod want to start streaming too. And Steve was asking me, hey, do you have some tips on how to set OBS up to get me there, like a little bit of a starter guide? And I was thinking, I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going to record some rough and dirty episodes, just like a few of them cobbled together with a lot of knowledge in there that will get you started. So you Steve and Rod and anyone else who is interested in embarking on this venture, there'll be a guide very soon. So that's the plan for tomorrow. And this is the Photoshop file, panel buttons. That's it, panel buttons that we made last time. We also made this little guy here. We made an emote. Is that approved yet? I still don't know how to kick emotes off, but if you're a subscriber of my channel and you see a little rat emote, that'll be that. Apparently they need to be approved by Twitch, so I don't know when that's going to happen, but apparently the shortcode for that is WP Guru Rat with a capital RAT. Let's try. Nah, doesn't work yet. So I suppose they'll let me know when that happens. Monday, indeed, yes, Christina. I'll see if I can premiere that again on YouTube. It was an interesting episode. It was kind of a mix between DAZ and Photoshop. in which we made essentially this. So we started out with just a rectangular button panel, and I've decided for white text in the end, just to let you know where I was coming from. So we tried several colors there, and I didn't really like any of them. And in the end, I thought, no, I'd like for this to be similar to the overlay that I already have. So I've copied some of the background out here. This is Subnautica kind of underneath where Jay's Crab Shack was. That's where that was. And then I used my regular font for this. I gave this a border, and it looks broken up because I've added a pattern to the border. Let me see if I can work out where that was. These are the words, and then this is the background, and the border is here. That's this is the border. So if I switch that off, it looks just kind of plain boring here. That was just a crop. And was this a color overlay we tried? Yes, this was a color overlay I tried for one button. I think I didn't quite like that. And this is just a stroke. And the reason why this has two straps is because I believe I've used... how did I do that? I don't remember. I think I would have... I don't remember. Well, anyway, it works. That's all we need to know. I thought it was what's it called? Like a curve that I added to there. Oh, did you know? Yes, of course. Yes, I remember now. Thank you. Thank you, Rod. Thank you for watching. That's exciting. What was I talking about? Remind me. Right, that one. Yes, that's probably the one. Yes, that was very well received. Lots of people had lots of comments, and that was very nice. So I'm glad so many people have followed here and subscribed here already. That's very exciting. I think I garnered about 20 or 30 subscribers, or no, followers. Subscribers are the paying customers. Followers are the people who follow. So yeah, thank you so much. There's a lot of interest in this, and I'm glad so many people want to come across to Twitch. It's exciting. If you have any questions about Twitch, I'll tell you everything I know. This is not much, but the offer is there. So I've designed this to be all in the same Photoshop file. And once we were done with this button, I added some icons here. So there are several, and those are under logos. Logos also have a little bit of an effect. So if I take that away, it looks a bit flatter. It's not a lot, it's just a bit of a drop shadow so that there's a bit of separation here between the button and the actual icon. So it's not that much to see, but it's a bit of separation. And I used a mixture of emoticons from Apple and some of these things that I've rendered myself, like the mouse. So this is what we've rendered that in DAZ Studio there. And some buttons were assets that are available from people like YouTube or Patreon, and others were social icons. So they just get dipped around there, and then the words are in a different group here, so they can be swapped out like that. That's how I did that. And I thought I'll leave them all white. That made more sense to me. And so I can now go and take a word and then add the icon of my choice in front of it. And that's how I did that. It's kind of nice to be able to expand that at a later point. And some of the icons, yeah, actually, I thought I'm going to wrap this up, and then, then we're done, really. It's a nice little profile. Once you see this all in context, I was thinking it's actually worth doing, because then I don't have to worry about it anymore. And then it's just a bit of, it brings everything I do together. Like today, I want to add some text underneath it, and I'll show you how that works. It's nice. Once you have these things set up, it's actually fairly straightforward. My favorite icons actually were these ones here. Those are designed by a guy from Argentina, I believe. Forgot his name, I'm afraid. But I bought them years ago from a website called Fast Icon. They're two icon sets. I bought them. I thought they were really, really nice, and they are kind of comic-y designed. And today, I believe the website doesn't actually exist anymore. It's not called Fast Icon anymore. It's called emojiguy.com. I don't know if it's still his website, if it's still his project, but I'll find out who that was, who the designer was. I really like that. I've exported them all out already. And do you know, Christina, that would be awesome. Welcome to the streaming club. That'd be really cool. And thank you, Joe. I'm glad you like that. Let's see some more in context and how we can add them there. So I'll go and close that. This is now the site adjusts dynamically. So if you collapse it, then, so he says, yeah, there we go. The site kind of adjusts the panels dynamically. So you make it smaller, and then the panels kind of float underneath one another. And then you make it wider, and then the panels kind of expand next to one another. So there is limited, how shall I say this? There is a limited amount of control that we have over where these panels are. So we can position them by clicking edit panels. Oh, this is another thing. Let me see if that works. If I go here, then we're zooming in. Are we zooming in? Yes, there we go. Perfect. Aha. Nice. And then if I do that, we're going back to the wide shot. So that's something I've been meaning to do for a while, that if I'm showing you something in a 3D application, then I can go and say, this is the button, and I can just go and zoom in there, and then we're going to go look at that a little bit closer up. And it works with other parts as well. So I can also zoom into this corner here, where it says get bits. Awesome. This is nice, isn't it? I like it. So that also works. Good. I'm going to cover how that works in the course I'm preparing this week. So we're clicking, just a demonstration effect here. If we click edit panels, then I get into some kind of a weird edit mode here. And first they're saying you can engage your community with stuff, so we can collapse that. And this is what the panels look like when we're designing them. And I can move them around. So first of all, I can add another one down here. But I can also move them around. So if I wanted the howdy I'm Jay thing at the front, I can just go drag and drop that to another position. Where exactly it's going to appear in the dynamically scaled Twitch description is another matter, but that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. And then this is the panel title. I'm only using one on my howdy panel because I don't have I'm using the image that's me already. And yeah, we'll look at the code in a moment there. Don't worry about that, Rod. It's very easy to get started. Let me go and use this panel as an example. Can I do that? Whoops. Oh, I'm so sorry. What happened now? That button was obviously not mapped correctly. I was going to zoom into the bottom right there. It totally didn't work. It's probably just a thing. Yes, because that needs to be bottom right there. Boom. And now, excuse me, if we do that, then we zoom into the bottom right corner of the thing. Yeah, there we go. That's not bad. Not bad at all. So that's obviously a bit zoomed in too far here. Maybe I'll bring it over here. There we go. Then you can see it better. I like it. I like it a lot. So I click on this big plus sign here, and now it says add a text or image panel or an extension panel. Extensions are something that's third-party integrations that you can get there. I wish we had that much control with YouTube panels. Can you imagine? We don't. We just get like a text box, the end. But with Twitch, we get all this. But I'm not going to use an extension panel. You can go get all kinds of things like you can sell merchandise, and you can link to your Twitter feed. I think I had that on my initial version, that my Twitter feed was pulled in. And there's all kinds of things that you can get with extension panels. So, you know, future thing to think about. Right now I'm going to add a text or image panel, and then this expands yet again. And then I can add another panel if I want. But I'm going to go and stick with this one here. And I'm going to add an image. Choose a file, drag in, drag and drop. So one thing I wanted to mention here is my website. So I'm going to go navigate, dynamically navigate to my websites button. I'm going to add that in there, and it goes and wants to crop it for me. So I'm going to go and say I don't want to crop anything. I want to have the whole thing here. Hit done, and now we have a website button. I can add a link to it, and I suppose I'll just pick one website by random, perhaps my, which one shall I pick? The WP Guru or dirceu.com? Let's put, so with the protocol, let's put wpguru.tv. And then in the description, it says it supports Markdown, no HTML. The Markdown is a form, like a spec down version of HTML. It's not, it doesn't use the tags, but you can use shortcuts to make words bold. So I'm just gonna show you how this works. I'll put 1, 2, and 3. And that's all I'm going to do for now. I'm going to put submit, and then in order to preview this, I'm going to have to go essentially back to my channel or in another tab, or I can undo this edit panels tick box here. I'm going to leave that in because I'm going to go and just copy my URL and paste that into another window. And now I'm gonna, stop my live video feed here. Usually you do this when the channel is offline, so yeah, that's just, there's the websites panel now. And it just says 1, 2, and 3. So I don't know why that's in the front, even though it's added at the end. Don't know really. Right now, it doesn't. It just has regular formatting here in 1, 2, and 3. So I can make that bold by putting 2 asterisks in the front and in the back of the section that I want to make bold, for example. Or I can also, oh, it doesn't? Oh, you know what? It's a very good point, Christina. That was my fault because I didn't switch the relay on. Let me do that now. Thank you for reminding me. Let's see if it is relaying now. Come on, say something. See if it works. Yes. So 1, 2, 3. If I wanted to make one of these things bold, I can go like here. I can go and add 2 stars in front and in the back. Then that word will be bold. If I wanted to make this an unordered list, like here, then I put 1 asterisk in the front and put a space in there. That's how Markdown works. And there's a whole guide that they give you a little access to there. Woohoo! Hello Discord, how you doing? Is it relaying? Rot, so funny. Yes, so if I were to do that, I can do that with these things. But I can also, there's an unordered list would just put a star in the front. Like that, and then this would be an unordered list. Let me go zoom in here. I like the zoomed in version because then we can all look at this text box. So this is how I'll format this. So I guess I'll say I have a number of websites. Actually, that's kind of self-explanatory, isn't it? Hence the headline websites there. Perhaps I'm just going to list my websites instead. So the first one, I'll just call these URLs out. So wpguru.tv, and then in brackets, maybe I'll put what that's about. So it's like tech tips, reviews, tech tips and reviews. How about that? And reviews. I'm not sure what else the website is about, but let's put the websites in first before we worry about the formatting. Then we have dirceu.com, 3D tips, and there's probably other stuff on there. What is my website about? Let's have a look. I've got so many websites. dirceu.com. What's it actually about? So I'm saying super survivor, hacker, broadcast professional, and the WP Guru. Okay, that was true yesterday. What's true today? So what else do I do? Yeah, let me see. Books. I have a category for that. Fun facts. Good point. Julia says tutorials. Christina says tutorials. Julia reads it out to me. I like that. What have we got? A list of all articles. So I've got DAS, Marvelous Designer, Blender, Carrara, Poser, ZBrush, Photoshop, Premiere. How about then 2D tips and tricks and tutorials? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's do that. 3D and 2D tips and articles. Have you, Steve? That's amazing. Wow, it was tough subject matter, wasn't it? I was briefly thinking of narrating it, but I don't think it's going to sound so well. Hey, type in CD/MD MK That's not gonna. I don't think I'll narrate that. I think I'll just say 3D tips and tutorials, tricks even. 3D tips and tricks and tutorials. That's good. Then of course I have supersurvivor.tv, and that's my cancer survival story. All right, let me actually zoom back in there. That's a much nicer viewing experience. How did you like it, Steve? Chris, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend. I haven't forgotten about your Discord invite. It is coming up. Give me a moment. I will totally do that. How do I whisper something to somebody? That's like /whisper, and then I just send you a message. That's how it works, right? This is all so new to me. Supersurvivor.tv. What do I have? I also have pinkstone.co.uk. That's iOS development. Mothballed, I'll say. And do I have other websites? My goodness, I really have to think now. I think that's probably the active ones. Well, if I have others, I can add them to there. So if I were to just hit submit, these will work now, but they won't have a link to them. So links are also possible in Markdown. Let's just see if I go and refresh the page here. And once again, if you do this on your own channel, it'll be much nicer because you don't see the live video here. So if I do this now, then you can see that the URLs are just printed out, but they're not clickable. They're also not boldened. So if I wanted to do it like this here on this list, then they've got a list to it now, so that's good. I've got the unordered list going, but I like for them to be clickable and I like for them to be bold in appearance. So that happens via 2 Markdown commands, and I'll show you how to do that. It'll be just like these things here. For that, we have to add a little bit of extra formatting in it, but that's okay. Do not be afraid. If I can remember how to do it. Oh, next week, Christina. That would be so cool. I would love to have this platform up and running so we can make a start on that. And especially the product that Kiwi Hawk was mentioning. Perfect opportunity to say, this is essentially a good product, but it needs work. So in order to bolden something, we go and put 2 stars in front of where we wanted to start bolden this thing up, and 2 stars at the back. No space, and then like this, that'll now make wpguru.tv bold. That's the formatting. But if we wanted to have this turn into a link, then we have to put square brackets around the portion that'll become a link, and then put round brackets around the actual link that'll be followed by that thing. I know this sounds super complicated. Let me show you this. So square brackets around the word that will become the link. So that's the phrase that'll become the link, could be anything. And now we put round brackets into which we put the actual link. So that's going to be my website, https://wpguru.tv. this seems like I'm doing it double, but this is just to mention the title of the website. So I could also here say the WP Guru, but it's yeah, I just won't do that. I'll just leave that as the URL because I think it's kind of funky. So that's how you build a link. Before I bore you to death with all this, I'm just going to go and do that on the other things. So put the formatting in first. Then we'll put this in square brackets here, followed by, with the protocol, that's also important that the protocol goes in. That should be that. Markup. There's a very nice markup cheat sheet. Let me dig that out. That's a really good resource to have. Markup cheat sheet, and that is somebody who knows a lot about markup. That's Adam P. I will post that link in the chat now, and he's made it on GitHub because this type of language is often used on GitHub. And here's a list of anything. These are kind of, if you're familiar with HTML, these things mean something to you, what a list is, what links are, what images are. And he explains how headers are written out. So hash H1 is like a single hash mark is a H1 tag, 2 hash marks are a H2 tag, and so forth. He gives you an option of how this is written out in the code. And then this is an example of what it looks like when it's printed on the website. This kind of depends on the CSS that is being used, but it's a wonderful, wonderful list. I'm going to post that in the chat now. I'll call it Markdown Cheat. If only I could spell cheat sheet. And then, of course, it's also on Discord now in the stream chat. Thank you so much for reminding me, Christina, to switch that relay on, because that's really important. And so Twitch follows that. They also give you a little guide here somewhere. Oh, there we go. In every panel it says supports Markdown, and if you follow that, you'll also get to a page that'll show you a little bit how that works. Steve, that's terrible. Who's gonna mop that up, man? So put formatting around it because I want them to be bold, and then I'll put square brackets around the thing that is becoming the link, followed by in round brackets of what the actual link is. So HTTPS, TTPS, that's how you spell that, right? Supersurvivor.tv, bracket closed. And then we're going to have one final one, and we're going to have a look at what, if I've not made any mistakes. It's highly unlikely. Formatting, square brackets around the word that you would like to be the link, in brackets the actual link, https pingstone.co.uk, round bracket closed. Now, yes, let's see if this worked. Clean up in L4. Ding. Let's refresh this puppy. Scroll all the way down. There we go. Looks like this has worked. Let's zoom in. Yeah, look at that. Everything is bold. And it looks like it's going places as well. So let me go and open 1, 2, 3, 4 and see if it actually goes to where I'm hoping it'll go. That's perfect. That's where that goes. I like that. That goes here. This website needs a big refresh. Both of my websites need a big refresh. This one is okay. This logo needs looking at, but we'll probably do that another time. I like this website. I like this design. This is a Divi-based design, and I like how this animates in and all that. I haven't done an update in here for a while. I should really get on with that. But in principle, it's working, so that's cool. And this is here my iOS dev diary, which is closed. Should have really had that in full screen, but hey, let's do it again. Let's do it again, especially the Super Survivor side. I can show you the whole layout here because I like how the animations is. This is in my neighborhood. This is a picture we took of me when I was kind of just over the hill. That was good. And what I was just talking about is these animations that come in here. And the count ups here. I just things that pop in. That's kind of nice. And if you look at it on a smaller screen of a phone, it looks like this is all kind of underneath one another. That's nice. Oh, still isn't working. What a shame. Well, in that case, I'll put the markdown cheat sheet into the discovery section later. I'll do that. So that's one panel down. If I find any other websites, I can always put them in there. Let's add another panel with links to, what else have we got? Of course, yeah. You can also, if you search for Markdown cheat sheet, it'll you'll get there as well. I'll go and add in image. I'll go and pick that up. Sub perks, thanks. We need definitely the thanks thing. Let's put the thanks thing in now. That's a nice start here. This is an Apple emoji here. And I'll just say thank you so much for dropping by. Enjoy the show. Smiley face. There we go. That's all we need. No links in there. This is going to be another panel with another button. YouTube, websites, games. What games are we playing here every once in a while? Let's put that in. You don't have to link to something, then the image won't highlight the thing. So if you click on an image, nothing happens when you don't put a link in. But if you do have a link there and you click on something, then that will go places. So you could just have a YouTube logo if you want. That's what some Twitchers do. They put a big YouTube logo on there, and then when you click it, the logo can go to your channel. That is possible. Well, the good thing is, Rod, you can do that. You know, if and when you feel like it. You can do it bit by bit. You don't have to do it all at once. I think, Christina, I've got my YouTube channels here. This is a separate panel, and I've explained what the archive channels are, and the link to my personal channel is on there, and a link to my main channel. So yeah, that's got its own thing. Socials are done. Tip jar schedule is done. Sub perks, what you get. Thanks panel is done. No worries, Christina. There's a lot going on. So let me write out a list of games. Like sometimes I'd like to have a look at how 3D tools are used to build video games. Hence, I like playing them from time to time. These are some of my favorites. Notice the U in favorites. Yes, that's correct. They are, it tells you here, images will be scaled to 320 max width. Is that in here? Yeah, absolutely. And you can upload them, so you don't have to host them anywhere else. Twitch will host them for you. And you can either crop them, or if you leave them uncropped, I think the maximum size that you can have is 320 by 300, so it's almost square, and they will resize it for you. So if you give it like a 640 wide image, they will resize it to 320 for you. So in the unordered list, I'm just going to put a star and a space. So one is Uncharted, for example, the Uncharted series. Another one is Halo. We can see, shall we say series or shall we just say those as titles? I mean, it's kind of a given that this includes Uncharted 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last, what's his face? Also, Halo kind of includes the Combat Evolved as well as 2, 3, ODST, and whatever 50 other games there were in the series. Maybe also Lego City Undercover, because that's also a nice game that I like. There's also Jak and Daxter. There's also Ratchet and Clank. There's also Subnautica, because we should have a look at Subnautica Below Zero at one point. I can't wait. That could be your first streaming session, making Twitch buttons for your Twitch channel. How appropriate is that? What other games do we like playing? I'm mentioning, I think at the top here somewhere, that I like all things 3D and I'm not afraid to experiment with software that has too many buttons. Favorites include Dash Studio, Carrara, Blender, ZBrush, and Photoshop. I also like playing video games and explore how 3D tools are used to create them. Oh yeah, I've set that up here, didn't I? Yeah, perfect. I don't need to mention that down here then. So I'll just say include, but are not limited to. Yeah, that's kind of funny. I like that. I thought you'd get a kick out of that, Rod, because it is true, isn't it? We get enticed by so many options, and well, let's try this and try that, and it's one of those things. Any other games that spring to mind that we used to play in the past, or the ones that I would like to play? Manifold Garden, yes. Myst, I'm gonna say no, Rod, because I think one time I looked at Myst, that was 15 years ago, and I think I might like Myst. It's just that I'm not clever enough to get it. You may have to. I'll tell you what. I'll show you another little trick. I'm gonna say maybe Myst, and I'm gonna put an asterisk in the front and in the back. If you use a single asterisk in front and in the end of a phrase, it makes the phrase italic. That's cool. You do double asterisk at the front and at the end, it makes it bold. You use one asterisk, it makes it italic. That's cool. Perhaps one final thought. In essence, retro type puzzle games, puzzle and story-driven adventure games. There's also, you know, Obduction. Just to give an impression of if we were to play a game, this is along those lines. That'll be it. Submit. Now, I'm sure there was another button. Let's go grab one. Add image. YouTube websites, books. That's a good idea. Books, thanks, tip jar, books. That's it. And I thought I'm going to put a few links to my books in here. Is this a good zoom option? Yes, it is. Let's use this. I'm not exactly on the New York Times bestseller list, but I have been doing a bit of writing in my time. Of writing and narration. Colon. Let's say Broken Bowels. Tales of a Super Survivor. Lamp Stack for Humans. I think it had a tagline, didn't it? maybe once we pick Mist up together, guys, maybe I'll get into it. I think it had a tagline. I think it was something lengthy, like how to turn turning an old laptop into a web server for your local network. That's long. Maybe we should you'll get a kick out of that. I'm thinking of making a second edition now that CentOS 8 is out. I'm describing how it works, how to do this with CentOS 7, and for the 32-bit compatibility, CentOS 6 is also mentioned, because some things need to be done differently. But now that we have CentOS 8, I might actually look into this and give it a Lamp Stack for Humans second edition. This lamp here, by the way, can I zoom into the center? I think you make it a bit bigger here. This lamp, that was a hexagon model. I made that model myself in hexagon. That's kind of cool. It also came out that way from hexagon to DAS Studio, so it's an actual render. It's very nice, very helpful. I have a web server running on my little network here, on my internal network, that runs a WordPress instance, and it's very cool. I'm describing exactly how that works in this book. And yeah, it's a nice little guide. So if I have to do this again, I now know how to do it, you know, because by this time I've probably forgotten. This was written in 2013, 2014. Maybe I'll just leave it as Lamp Stack for Humans, leave the audience hanging. And I'll just say I've also narrated Flickr World by Brian Kramer. True story. Actually, and also, what am I talking about? I'm currently narrating for Brian Kramer What the Luck by Brian Kramer. I'm not narrating the audiobook, the 8 audiobooks that were offered to me recently at a rate that was so low that I had to decline it. Otherwise, there would be 8 more books in the narration section. There we go. Woohoo! Yes, Plesk. Absolutely, Plesk. That was I had an intention once to write another book, which was Plesk for Humans. And that was, the idea was then when Plesk was really difficult to use, I was going to make this into a guide, much like Lamp Stack for Humans. It would be Plesk for Humans, where you learn how to run Plesk on your web server and then run your own websites. I'm thinking maybe it's this. I'll just say written by me, narrated by me. Well, I've narrated. I've also narrated. I've narrated. I've written by me. Narrated by me. There we go. Let's do that. Narrated by me. And I'm also going to have to dig out the Flickr World promo for Brian, because I loved having that on the Stream Deck to roll it in. So those are the books. I'm now going to go and link to those. Currently in production, I'll say. So now we're going to put links to these things as well. just like we did before. First of all, let's find it. This is the Lampstank link. I'm going to go and copy that out. There's a category here on my website in which I can go to it, and I've got the blurb here, and it's embedded. It's got the Kindle edition embedded, or the preview, and then on the audiobook editions for Broken Bowels and for Flickr World, there's that. There's the Kindle edition, and there's also an audio sample here. So you can listen to what that sounds like, and links to the relevant services. So if I link people here, then I can make changes there, amendments there. So I'll do that. So this one was for the Lampstack book. I'll go and turn that into a link. So once again, square brackets around the phrase that wants to be the link. Then I go and use the round brackets, and I'm going to paste my link in there, and that's that. That will make the link. So this is a bit easier to understand than the two web URLs that I had there. Ooh, how exciting. Yes, Christina, I would love to narrate your books. Actually, you've got so many. Yeah, I'll do your deal. Let's do this. Great. I'd love to narrate your books. It's a nice thing for me to do because I can do it on the side, an hour a day, and it'll take a while, but it'll be I'd love to have your books on my portfolio. That'd be awesome. Are they in English or are they in German? I could narrate stuff in German. That's interesting. So many interesting creative ideas. I think that's what I enjoy most about our streaming sessions, that we all come up with so many exciting creative ideas. That is so cool. I love that. I think that's what I really enjoy. But ever since we started this Discord thing and had started live sessions on YouTube, it just became this creative breeding ground, and we seem to feed off each other's energy. I really like that. That's that. Broken Bowels. That is this link now. So I'll go and just copy that. And once again, square brackets around the whole phrase, followed by round brackets around the link. And then I've got narrated by me. I don't need to put Broken Bowels under the narrated section as well, right? Because I mean, I have narrated it, but it's already got a link, so maybe it doesn't need a second one. Flickr World. Ah, oh wow. Look at that. Did you write those versions, or were they translated for you, Christina? How interesting, a multi-language title. That is very cool. Square brackets around the thing, round brackets around, around the link. And What the Luck doesn't have a link yet, so we'll go, and I could leave it like that, but I like if I show you the things that are not bold versus the things that are bold. These are the things that are not bold, and they probably work, or I could bolden it up. So this is how things look when they are bold, and this is what things look like when they're not bold. So Twitter is bold, Facebook and Instagram are not. What do you think, bold or not bold? Here's another example here. Oh, up here, actually. WP Guru is bold. Javis Lewis, 3D Shenanigans, and J Plays is not bold. All right. Christina, way to go. That is so cool. Do you know, it's funny you should say that. I was considering writing a German version of Broken Bowels, and I've not done it because it was too much work for me. I was thinking about it, but because I was the author, I was thinking it's probably easier for me if I rewrite it in German rather than translate the English version, because the English version has some puns that work in English, and I thought to myself, I would have to come up with German equivalent puns in that, and that was hard work. Also, I was kind of over the whole topic. It was good to write it, but I think it was very painful for me to go back and rewrite it. So I didn't do it in the end. But it would be interesting for me to know how you approached it. Did you write the German version first, and then did you translate you wrote the English version first? Right. Interesting. It's fascinating how the mind works, isn't it? Because mine was all this came out in English. It wasn't because I had experienced it in English. So all these expressions that we had, I just experienced that in English. Hence, it all came out in English. Interesting. So you wrote. That's very cool. Wow, fascinating. Thank you for letting me know, Christina. This is very, very fascinating. And then you translated it. Interesting. I would love to narrate both versions for you. I've never narrated a German version, a German book. Let's try it out. See what it sounds like. I think we all are, Steve. Unbelievable. This is great. Huh. What are your thoughts on the bold versus non-bold thing? I'll go refresh the page and then we can have a closer look at what it looks in non-bold right now in the current version. Socials, websites, there we go. So it's put all the panels at the front, so I'm gonna have to jig that. Oh, look at that. So I've got a little mistake here in the first line already. I've ended it with a curly brace rather than a square bracket. So the whole thing isn't being translated into a link. So we're going to have to work on that. What the luck looks out of place because it doesn't have a link. So I'm going to give it a fake link. So just so that the formatting is the same. Steve likes bold. I'm thinking I like bold. I think it'll just be much nicer if we just bolden it up. Shall we do that? Let's go bold, man. Let's go bold. Yeah, good. Christina likes it too. I like it. Let's do the bold thing. Books. There we go. So boldening things up is then just by adding 2 stars to the front and the back of the whole thing. I'm going to do that with what the luck as well. So that's 2 stars at the front, 2 stars at the back. In fact, I'm going to leave currently in production not in bold, and I'm just going to have by Brian Kramer, that whole section in bold. And I'll give it a fake link, encapsulate in square brackets. Is this maybe better? My mug isn't in front of it. No, now it's gone. Okay. Put up with the mug shot. And put the curly brace. Then in square brackets, I'm just going to put a hash, a single hash. And that is kind of a fake link that links to here, like here right now. But it'll turn it into a highlight purple thing. That's now bold. Now the top thing here, there is the curly brace. Turn that into a square bracket. 2 stars at the beginning, 2 stars at the back. Same thing with lamp stack for humans. Here and there. Woo! Submit. And I think then we're done. I'm gonna put these panels into different order so that they make more sense. We're so bold, man. Maybe we'll go and make the website, the whole thing a little bit more narrow. This is one thing I don't understand about Twitch, that the moment you refresh the website, the whole chat's gone. What's that all about? That's crazy, isn't it? And if you haven't, there's one thing that Julia and I've been experiencing. If we play a game and we happen to stream the footage to Twitch, then somebody might come along and leave a comment, and all you see is that somebody has been there that left a comment, but you don't see the comment. That's ridiculous. I don't know why that is. Crazy stuff. Right, so if we shove it together, then it looks like our last panels come first, and then they go in this order. They kind of go left to right, and then whatever should be next to it kind of gets broken off into the next thing. So that gives us a good indication of how we can organize the panels. Shall I make Facebook and Instagram bold as well? Not that I use them much, but you know, it'll be a cohesive theme then. Here on the YouTube channels, it makes sense because this is the main channel and these are the two archive channels, so they are not in bold. Notice I didn't put my German channel on there because there's only 2 videos on there, and maybe, you know, as I get more, I can always amend that later. What you think? Maybe I will make both of these bold. Bei Köln rechts, that's the one. Turn right at Cologne. That is such a funny story. I'm hoping to write that book one day, together with my friend Oliver, who's also a Patreon supporter. I would say hello, but I'm 100% certain he's not watching this program, so that's okay. So, howdy sub perks, YouTube and socials. They should be, so if it's, I would imagine thanks could be at the end. Games, books, website, games maybe over here. I'm hoping they'll rearrange themselves. Maybe hello comes first, then the rest doesn't matter that much. We'll see what happens if I switch those panels off. Oh, great. Okay, so then they appear here right away in this order. Do you know, I'm thinking, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't show you the full result here. I'm thinking maybe I like the idea that my photo was more in the middle, so perhaps I'm going to go and move that over again. That's him, exactly, Christina, Oliver Spaneth. Yeah, I'm going to put that panel over here again. Oh, see what that looks like. Yeah, I think I like that better. I don't have much of an influence over how these panels are distributed at the bottom. I don't think. If any of you know that, please let me know, but I don't think I have much of a choice. It just rearranges itself. So sometimes thanks isn't at the end, it's kind of more at the in the middle. But I like the idea that I'm kind of in the middle there rather than at the left or at the right, unless you make it too narrow. Then it doesn't really matter. But if we have a 3-column design, I think I like this layout. And I'm happy with the buttons, very much, very happy. I think this, I'm just going to make that bold here and turn this into the second row. That's the only change I'm going to make. And I think then we're done for the day. So just start like that, make that bold, turn that into the next row and switch that bold off at the end. See if that had the desired effect. Tomorrow, I'd like to go ahead and there we go. That's nice. I like it. I like it. Steve, you're going to have so much fun. I can give you a brief rundown while we're here. So that's what this, I'm going to try and do this, wrap this all up in one day. I'm going to try, maybe I'll take 2 days over it, but that's the idea. I'm going to wrap this all up so that you can get on with setting up OBS and your Stream Deck and get these things up and running. yes, we can go through that just now because it comes with this amazing software. In fact, why don't we do that? It comes up once it's installed. It comes up in the taskbar down here, and this is the icon. The Stream Deck software comes up, and it's extremely cool because if you right-click on it, then the whole list of your Stream Deck's configurations will come up. This is the whole list. So if we look at it, so configure Stream Deck will open the software as if you were to left click on that, but you can also right click and then just configure each Stream Deck the way you want it. So I've got my original one down here. That's the physical one, the thing that you got, the USB thing. And I've got two others which are virtual ones, which are on my iPhone 5S and on the iPhone 6S Plus, and they are the iOS apps essentially. You pay $30 a year, but then you can have another Stream Deck on your iPhone, which is so cool. So I have one to switch scenes and the other one on my iPhone to cue sound effects, or whichever way works best for you. You can cue visuals and you can do all kinds of things. So that's the configurations that are on here. And then you can have, depending on the scene collection that you've made for yourself, you can have different configurations on a different, like you can have different configurations for the Stream Deck. So you can have one scene collection for this project and one scene collection for that, and then you can switch the layouts over as well. Tons and tons of fun. So once you open that Stream Deck software, let me see where's the best way to position that. Maybe here. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. You get something like this. So right now I've got these icons set up. These tell me which corner of the screen I'm moving into. So desktop, this button here is then that's this view. Very interesting. That's the whole thing. I can also switch to my clean camera. That's my clean camera, and back to the desktop. That's that. And these things work by just zooming into the top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, and that's how you can switch over. And this is essentially acting as a remote into OBS. You're gonna have tons of fun with that. So if you wanted to set any of these scenes up, let me take the clock away, for example. I'll go and take the, whoops, sorry. There we go. If we take the clock away, I'll just delete that. You can go and drag a scene in. There's so many options here on the side, but essentially you drag that scene into here. And then at the bottom, it's a bit too big, so I'll go back to this view here. At the bottom, you can then set up what scene from OBS you'd like to be on there. So for example, the titles, for example, and then if you were to click that, and it would cue the titles. You can also name that scene something. So I've already got the title set up, so you can set that here, and you can put an icon on this button. That's how I made these things in a nutshell. So you're going to have so much fun doing that. I'm going to bring my clock back, and that's just a matter of selecting the countdown loop here. I'm going to call it clock. And there we go. You have two images, one for the highlight and the unhighlight state of the thing. So that's why when I go and zoom into the top right corner, I haven't got an image set up for the highlight state, because this is when the button is highlight, and then this would be when the button is not highlight. So much to play with, so much to play with. You're gonna have so much fun. Anyway, guys, tomorrow in tomorrow's stream, my plan is, so I'm going to do this course thing during the day, and during the evening stream, I'd like to take a look at a couple of the DAS sets I bought, like Urban Future 7, I think the Streets of Venice, and there was a third one that I forgot now, but I'd like to have a look at them in DAS Studio, and I would like to first of all take a look at setting up the HDRI in Octane, as well as the same HDRI in Octane as well as Iray, and then do a quick render of a single image and see what the speed is like. I'd like to see if Octane is in fact faster. And then once we've determined that, I'd like to get started on your title sequence, Steve. I'm imagining something like a quick camera pan through one of those city scenes, and then at the end we can see something along the lines of the random text animation that just builds itself up, something like that. That'll look cool. I try to do this quick, but I'm imagining this is going to take a few days to get this going, so you know, it'll be extremely cool. You are so funny, Rod. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Steve, in your case, have a wonderful day. Christina, have a wonderful night. And anyone else who's watched me here on Twitch, thank you so much for dropping by. Chris and all my other subscribers on Twitch, which were... so Marsky is the other one I need to send an invitation to, a Discord invitation, and Obafemi, who's a new Patreon supporter. Thank you so much. In case you're watching, I will send you a Discord invite too. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel. Bye-bye.